Tonight from the Big A in Anaheim, this crucial Red Sox road trip continues as the Sox face the Angels one night after a sour defeat on a throwing error in the ninth inning. Rick Porcello tries to pick up Boston. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Southern California. Great to have you with us. I'm Dave O'Brien. My partner, Steve Lyons, Garen Austin, will be alongside in just a moment. And it was indeed a very sour way to begin a crucial road trip last night, Steve, because the Red Sox gave it away in the ninth inning. But tonight, it's Rick Porcello on the mound. He's 13-2.
Yeah, and don't look now, but he is the best Red Sox pitcher on the staff right now. With the recent struggles that Stephen Wright has seen in the month of July and the resurgence here of Rick Porcello, look at the numbers. The one I like to look at here is the innings pitched there. In his 5 starts, he's pitched 32 innings, which is averaging better than 6 innings a start. That's getting deep enough into the game where you can set your bullpen up the way you want it. He's been brilliant with the high fastball, the sinking fastball, the breaking pitches to go away along with it. He's been kind of a clinic in the way you're supposed to pitch.
All right, so Rick Porcello trying to very quickly erase the memory of last night here in Game 2 in Anaheim. The Red Sox are going to have a lot of help in the stands because everywhere you look on every road trip, you see all of these signs. A lot of them, of course, David Ortiz signs. Big Papi is in the lineup here at the Big A. Red Sox and the Angels coming up here from Southern California. It's Game 2. BuyAToyota.com, Toyota's website for deals. Dunkin' Donuts, America runs on Dunkin'. The 2017 Kia Sportage. Visit anykiadealers.com to learn more. Digital Federal Credit Union. See what DCU can save you. Subaru Retailers of New England. And by Southwest Airlines, transparency, low fares, and nothing to hide. Beautiful night here in Anaheim, California, Angels Stadium. Red Sox and the Halos in game number 2. We bring in Garen Austin. And Garen, it's Rick Porcello trying to pick up his 14th win of 2016 tonight.
Well, Rick Porcello has been on a roll. He's gone at least 5 innings in each of his last 28 starts, and he's 5-0 with a 2.53 ERA in his last 5. I caught up with Porcello, who said he's feeling very confident on the mound.
I feel great on the mound, feel very comfortable. We've been playing great defense and swinging the bats when I've been on the mound, so just trying to continue that. We got a long road trip and we need to play well. We got 4 here and 4 in Seattle and 3 against the Dodgers, so we got some good teams coming up, and any road trip or any trip period's big, but this is definitely a time where we need to play well.
Well, one can't deny that one of the storylines of the 2016 season for the Red Sox has been the brutal, gut-wrenching losses. Last night was one of those, and Porcello's job, among others, is to put that to bed, put it quickly behind the Red Sox, and get into the win column. And for the second consecutive night, Steve, as we come on the air, the Red Sox are getting help against the Baltimore Orioles, who have lost again. They have now lost 4 in a row. Toronto beat them tonight, and the Blue Jays are now within a half game of first place.
Yeah, you really have to take advantage of the teams in front of you playing bad baseball. And, you know, we've been looking up at the Baltimore Orioles for a long time this season, but I'll tell you what, the Toronto Blue Jays are a scary baseball team right now as well. Playing very well, and they pulled it within a half game of the front-running Baltimore Orioles, but the Red Sox can get to it in 1.5 now. This greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. American League batting average leaders entering tonight. Jose Altuve having a spectacular year for Houston, hitting .357. Xander Bogaerts at .330. David Ortiz right behind him at .325. Yunel Escobar is the leadoff man for this Angel team. He's in that run too, along with the great Mike Trout, who is hitting .313. He had a base hit in the 9th inning last night and wound up scoring the tying run as the Red Sox lost here in heartbreaking fashion 2-1. Red Sox have had a number of those kind of losses, haven't they? Go back to May 28th, that 10-9 loss at Toronto. That was on the throw to Hanley Ramirez in the bottom of the 9th inning he could not handle. The walk-off loss at Minnesota in June, very winnable game, losing in the 10th inning. A couple of losses to a highly beatable White Sox team at Fenway. One night after the Red Sox failed to score with the bases loaded, so that's going to be an old story. Here's a look at the Red Sox lineup now. It's brought to you by buyatoyota.com. Toyota's website for deals. It'll be Mookie Betts to lead things off. He's in right field. Dustin Pedroia at second base. Xander Bogaerts has hit safely in 10 in a row. David Ortiz, the DH, Hanley Ramirez at first. Jackie Bradley in center. Aaron Hill has tremendous numbers against Tim Lincecum. That's why he's in there tonight. Ryan Hannigan doing the catching, batting 8th, and Brock Holt in left field, and the number 9 hitter. And up against the right-hander Tim Lincecum, was 2-4 with the Angels, at .870 earned run average. They used to call him the Freak back in his heyday with San Francisco. He's a long way from that.
Yeah, he's not the same guy, no question about that. Kind of took a flyer because of all the injuries on this Angels team. When he had a little workout, he threw 41 pitches for all the major league scouts. The Angels decided we need help. Let's check out the Angels defense now, brought to you by DraftKings. Around the infield at third base, Escobar, Simmons, Petit now at second base, his normal position, Choi over at first, and in the outfield, old friend Daniel Nava, former Red Sox, Trout and Calhoun round out the outfield. And your battery for tonight, Perez will do the catching, Lincecum, the former Freak, on the mound.
Tonight's umpires are brought to you by ToyotaCertified.com. Mark Ripperger is the plate umpire. Joe West at first, Kerwin Danley at second, and Andy Fletcher is the umpire at third. And we're available. This telecast can be heard in Spanish by selecting the SAP button on your TV remote. SAP presented by ToyotaCertified.com. Search for your factory-backed Toyota certified used vehicle right now. It's good to know the factory has your back. Yeah, look at the forecast. 82 degrees right now. The wind is right now right to left at about 9 miles an hour. It's almost never a factor here. It's going to be a clear night in Anaheim. And the Red Sox trying to go back to work against Tim Lincecum and the Angels. Mookie Betts hitting .305. First pitch inside for ball, and we are underway.
And for the second night in a row, the Red Sox will have to approach a starting pitcher as if they're looking for a breaking ball on every pitch.
Lincecum in his last start lasted an inning and a third and gave up 8 runs.
Ouch.
Against Houston. Trying to make a comeback. He works quickly. You pointed this out, though, and even in his heyday, even when he was a great pitcher, a 2-time Cy Young Award winner with the San Francisco Giants, he didn't throw a ton of strikes. He struck a lot of guys out, but that's different from throwing a lot of strikes.
And there you go. Didn't throw any strikes there either, but he used to throw a lot of pitches that looked like strikes to hitters, and they would swing at him, and they'd be in the dirt, or they'd be way outside. Now he's really struggling with just throwing the ball over the plate, period. Throws that split. He's still got a big overhand curveball. He's lost all the velocity of his fastball. 88 is about where he'll top out.
There's a time he would hit 98. So a quick walk. Betts is aboard, and Pedroia the batter. Xander Bogaerts on deck. Snap toss down to first base, but Mookie dives in safely. Pedroia hitting .303 with 11 homers, 43 RBIs. As you look at the stolen bases for Betts, he was caught last night. He was picked off in the 8th inning. Well, he was leaning the wrong way, and he got picked.
And Lincecum cannot find the plate already.
Now, the Angels were just desperate for pitching with all the injuries they had when they signed Lincecum in mid-June. After he staged a come-and-see workout session that was open to all major league teams.
41 pitches he threw, and the Angels said, gosh, we've got Richard, Wilson, Haney all on the DL, all members of their starting rotation. Nick Tropianos, another guy on the DL. Goodness.
The 2-0. He misses again. So the count 3-0.
This is amazing for me to watch too, because we know how good major league pitchers are, and they can pretty much throw the ball they want to. And when you see a guy with the pedigree of Lincecum not be able to find the plate, scary.
Wow, he misses on 8 straight to begin the night. Back-to-back walks. And Xander Bogaerts can do some damage right away, and assuming he gets something to swing at.
Now, what's Perez going to tell him right now? He came out the first time, and Lincecum already didn't want to see him out there. Now he's out there again. Lincecum's doing nothing but trying to throw the ball right down the middle.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious what's going on. His pitching line coming into tonight's game is almost laughable. 30 innings, 54 hits, 9 home runs, and the league is batting a whopping .391 against him. He does not want to throw a strike. Finally does. And a sarcastic cheer goes up here in Anaheim. And Toronto beat the Orioles 6-5. Game that concluded just as we were coming on air. Betts at second, Pedroia at first. The best thing in the world for the Red Sox would be to score 5 quick runs.
Yes.
And put last night to bed.
Well, they got a chance right now. 2 guys on. When you're talking about Lincecum and what he's been able to do so far for the Angels, I know they're hurting for starting pitching, but you know, if he continues to pitch the way he has for them, how long can they keep running him back out there?
The 1-1 and a strike. A high strike granted by Mark Ripperger.
You'll rarely see an umpire give a pitcher who is struggling a borderline strike. Most umpires will give you a little bit more on the plate if you prove you can hit that spot. But if you're all over the place, they want you. They're going to say, hey, throw the ball down the middle. You're not getting any help.
1-2. Knocked the bat out of his hands. High and tight. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
When you're struggling out there on the mound, you don't know where it's going.
So to count 2-2. Big Papi on deck. And that's going to miss low for ball 3. He's on the verge of walking the first 3 men for the Red Sox tonight. Lincecum now 32 years old, still a slender 5'11", about 170 pounds.
That's without all the long hair.
Yes. Getting knocked around when he does throw strikes. The 3-2. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. So Bogaerts fans, you know, one of the great frustrations of last night facing Jared Weaver is pitches like this, which took all night to get there. The Red Sox did no damage.
Yep. Not a good at-bat right there. Not a good pitch to swing at from Bogaerts. Could have really put Lincecum in a world of hurt with bases loaded, nobody out. He escapes there a little bit.
Well, he did him a favor. That was ball 4.
Absolutely. Not even close.
David Ortiz now 325, 25 homers, 84 driven in. Put on quite a show during batting practice tonight. He had them oohing and eyeing here in Anaheim. Red Sox with a chance right away. and into the dirt for ball one. Ortiz 1 for 5 against Lincecum in his career, and the one is a home run.
It's almost ridiculous to look at the past numbers when you're facing Lincecum now, because he's not anywhere close to being the same pitcher.
He was an outstanding pitcher for a long time. That's low. Here's the throw into second base, but not in time to get Betts as he goes diving back in safely. Back in his Giants days, with that funky delivery, dazzled the National League. He'd throw 97, 98, won the Cy Young back-to-back years in 2008 and 9. 4-time All-Star. 3 times he led the National League in strikeouts. High fly ball into left, but not a whole lot of carry on that. Nava backing up. Betts back to tag, and he will advance as the throw comes into second base. But now there are 2 down. Red Sox certainly hope they're not going to look at that Xander Bogaerts at bat as a killer in the inning. And now Ortiz flies out, and it's up to Hanley Ramirez. Hanley hitting .278, 13 homers. He's driven in 60. Last night made the throwing mistake that cost the Red Sox the ball game. He owned up to it afterwards. He said he had to be better than that, no question. He rushed the throw and really airmailed it. And 2 runs scored in the bottom of the 9th inning, and the Red Sox went from what looked to be a 1-0 victory to 2-1 losers. And had an opportunity last night to gain on the Orioles and missed it. That'll be in there for a strike.
Here's that play. The nightmare we lived through last night. Nava at the plate, little bouncer. Hanley easily all over it. He admitted that he was worried about getting back to first base to turn the double play, and so he headed back to first literally before he was throwing the ball, and that's how it got away from him.
0-1 check swing and rolled back to Lincecum, and he's going to throw on to first and get out of that jam. I'm not sure he deserved to, but he got out of it. And the Red Sox are frustrated here in the first inning as the Angels are coming up no score. Lineup brought to you by New England Chevy dealers, Yunel Escobar, Cole Calhoun, and the great Mike Trout. Albert Pujols, who's headed for the Hall of Fame. Daniel Nava has really been a pain in the neck against his old team. Andrelton Simmons. G-Man Choi is at first base with Carlos Perez doing the catching. And Petit is the second baseman. And there's a line drive caught by Dustin Pedroia for a fast out. A rocket there by Escobar came in hitting .324. The Red Sox starter presented by New England Audi dealers. Porcello coming in 13-2 with .357 earned run average. He has earned the win in a career-high 7 straight decisions and ranks 3rd in the American League in victories. The Red Sox are leaning on the right-hander tonight as Cole Calhoun will step in. He's been trouble against Porcello in his career. 5 for 8, 2 home runs. And in there for strike 1.
This guy's just a good player. Had to fight his way to the big leagues. He was drafted as a senior out of Arizona State, same program that Petey came out of, and you can see the similarities.
He's built like a fire hydrant.
Tough out, hard-nosed player.
Trout on deck. Last night was deja vu for the Angels, who rallied for a 2-1 walk-off win, ending on an error for the first time since 1984, which was opening day, and that was also against the Red Sox.
Ouch.
Tough way to lose it, and the Red Sox wasted an outstanding pitching performance by David Price. They went 8 innings.
One of the best outings we've seen out of Price all season long.
No doubt.
Didn't strike out a lot of guys, but it was very efficient. And I think the thing we were really looking for out of him was whether or not he would be able to locate his pitches, and he did.
109 pitches. It was a muggy night, very warm night here. He was sweating right through his jersey all evening. And some were critical later that he didn't go out for the 9th inning, not of him necessarily, but the fact that Ziegler was in the game. But it's a 1-0 lead. You've got a guy who's been very successful closing in the past. I thought Price was done and had done his job.
Absolutely. And that is the formula of the way the game is played today. I'm not necessarily sure that I always agree with the way that happens.
Swing and a miss. Down goes Calhoun, 2 down, and Trout will be next.
All right, the Red Sox defense now brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Hill gets the start at third base today. Bogey at short. Pedroia at second. Ramirez over at first again tonight. In the outfield, one of the best in the game. Holt, Bradley, and Betts. And there's your battery. Hannigan behind the dish tonight to catch Porcello.
Trout hitting .313, 19 homers. He's driven in 65. He started the bottom of the 9th inning with an infield single, which Travis Shaw fielded and threw low to Ramirez. Hanley couldn't dig it out. Pop up into right center field. Mookie Betts right there, and that's a good start for Porcello. He gets him 1, 2, 3, and we are scoreless after 1 in Anaheim. 6-1. Lincecum walked the first two batters on 8 consecutive pitches, Betts and Pedroia, but then Bogarts, Ortiz, and Ramirez went down in order after that in the first, and so Jackie Bradley will lead things up. Now, in between innings, everybody talked to him.
Yeah, you've got Charles Nagy sitting next down there to him, and Socha comes over. Everybody's putting a hand on his back. Hey, hang in there, but throw the ball over the plate.
Lincecum had hip surgery last December, and when he signed with the Angels in June, it started out pretty well. 1 run, 6 innings against Oakland. They thought they were onto something. He's gotten hammered since.
Well, he's always had that whirlwind delivery. Turns way away from you. His long arms the ball. You got to be spot on your mechanics in order to throw strikes like that.
Boy, that is in there.
Jeez.
According to the umpire for strike 3, Ripperger calling that a strike. And a second K for Lincecum. Take a look at this one.
I tell you what, for a guy who's not throwing the ball over the plate, he's getting a lot of help tonight. I don't want to have to swing at that pitch if I'm hitting.
And nor should you.
Why? Because it's not a strike?
Just start there, yeah. Here's Aaron Hill. Hill only hitting 179. He's been pretty quiet since the Red Sox got him, except for his debut, and he drove in 2 runs. But he's in the lineup tonight because he's 11 for 22 against Lincecum. Flies at the dead away center. Pretty well hit, but Trout backs up to make the grab. And there are 2 down. Follow Red Sox baseball live with the MLB.com and BAT app. Stay up to the moment with game day, live game video, and more. Download MLB.com and BAT, the #1 app for live baseball on your smartphone and tablet today. 0-0 game here in the second. Ryan Hannigan in the lineup tonight doing the catching. He was scratched in his last start not long before the first pitch because of flu-like symptoms.
He's been scuffling for a few days. I talked to him today. He says he feels a whole lot better.
176 with a home run and a strike. Brock Holt on deck. And the 0-1 pitch. Red Sox have suffered a couple of really heartbreaking losses out of these last 2 or 3 games in particular. They've lost 4 in a row.
For the first time all season.
That's correct. Fly ball into left center field on the move. Nava to put that away, and the Red Sox go quickly in the second inning. Much smoother inning for Lincecum. 1-2-3. It's a 0-0 game in the second. Porcello will get Pujols, Nava, and Simmons. That is 4, 5, and 6 for the Angels. Albert hitting .255, 19 homers, and 78 driven in. These cold hard facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. RBI leaders in the month of July. He's at the very top in the majors with 28. David Ortiz with 21. And socked into right center field. He'll take a single.
Well, I'll tell you, when you think of Albert Pujols over the years, you think of the towering home runs that he would hit to left and left center field, but he has such a pretty opposite field stroke. He's got a ton of hits hitting it that way too.
So on in front of Daniel Nava. Kind of scuffling along at 233, but he was right in the middle of it again last night. It was his chopper to first base that was eventually fielded and then thrown away by Hanley Ramirez to cost the Red Sox that victory.
Over the last 5 games or so, I'm really tired of former Red Sox being involved in plays that make sure the Red Sox lose games.
The Tigers had about 3 or 4 guys who used to wear the Red Sox uniform who hurt them in that series.
Nava told me he feels like he's hitting the ball pretty well. He just can't buy one. Hitting a lot of hard balls at people.
Slicer dropping. Here comes Jackie Bradley, and he misplays it. It gets by him. That's going to keep on rolling. Pujols taking off for third, and he'll stop there. Nava into second base. It will probably be a base hit and an error. And Jackie Bradley overran it.
The grass here in Anaheim is very difficult to play because the ball sticks to it. And you see how the spin on that ball stuck to the grass and checked back up behind him. It bounced the other way. Happens here a lot because of the way the grass has grown here in Anaheim.
You're going to call that a double?
Probably just for that reason right there.
So second and third for Simmons.
You know, Dave, I really look at this ball club as a very good defensive club, but it has not been lately. A lot of bad defensive plays have contributed to some of the losses here over the last 10 days or so.
Simmons a hot bat, hitting .284 with a homer, 22 runs driven in. Outstanding defender from Curacao. But right now his bat is doing the talking. In there for strike one.
And talk about the difference in the grass. On the East Coast, the grass is so heavy and thick. Not out here on the West. You don't have to battle bad weather. And the way they cut the grass, you see the patterns here. When the ball's on the ground, it will snake. The grass catches it. It pulls it one way, and then when it hits the other pattern, it pulls it back the other way.
0-1 will miss inside, which is something you have to be aware of as an outfielder.
I remember in a series here and playing with the Red Sox with Jim Rice playing left field, I had to back him up 3 different times because it just baffled him a couple times and it snaked right by him.
Simmons hitting .381 in his last 30 games. So he's been cooking, and he won't chase that one. So it's Pujols at third, Nava into second. Ruled a double. And quick problems for Porcello. Not necessarily of his own making. Really should be first and second. And a 2-1 ground ball to Bogaerts. That'll get a run in. Throw on to first base in time as Albert Pujols scores to make it 1-0 Angels.
Bogey thought about it because Pujols does not run very well anymore. He's had the history of the feet problems just like David Ortiz, but he's playing too deep. You see him, he'll think about it for a second, then he says, I better get an out at first base. But unfortunately, because that ball skipped past Jackie Bradley Jr., that could have been a double play ball.
Daniel Nava holding at second base. 1 out and 1 in. Ji-Man Choi, the first baseman, will climb in next. 24-year-old switch hitter from South Korea. Hitting .175, 2 homers. He's driven in 5 runs. He was a Rule 5 draft pick from Baltimore. Came up through the Seattle organization. That breaking ball slipped a little bit for ball 1.
His numbers are ugly at $175, but he's actually hit much better lately. He's had hits in 10 of his last 12 games. Got off to an extremely slow start.
He's a former catcher. Got him at first base tonight. Joey was suspended 50 games 2 years ago for the use of a performance-enhancing drug. And last year he broke his leg in the very first spring training game. As he pulls that one to the right side, Pedroia up and over, and into third base, Nava. Remember, Nava also was the guy in the Red Sox victory back at Fenway the last time they met in July, who hammered that controversial double down the right field line, on which we certainly thought there would be fan interference. Even after review, they didn't rule it fan interference, which was a shocker.
Yeah.
And the Red Sox escaped with that victory. Nava did get credit, of course, for 2 bases on it. But the Red Sox would hang on for the win. Here's Carlos Perez now, the catcher. Hitting .220 with 5 home runs.
This is, to me, a huge at-bat right here in the early going. Giving up 1 run here, but with a guy on third base, a base hit scores another one. Need this guy to get out of the inning.
The 1-0 from Porcello is hammered up the middle, a base hit that'll drive in the second run. Nava scores. And Perez just continues to do it against the Red Sox. He had a 6 RBI game in Boston on July 2nd.
Had 4 hits on Tuesday night, so he's swinging a hot bat.
So Porcello gives up his 3rd hit in the inning.
Trying to go up in the zone. It's the fastball that he tries to get up over the hands, but that was really right down the middle. A low fastball that got hit right back at him.
So Gregorio Petit will step in next, 288 with a couple of home runs. Another Angel swinging it pretty well right now. And he lashes a foul for strike 1. He started in left field last night. Last 2 games he had been in left. He's at second base tonight. He had never played in the outfield professionally before those 2 games at any level. On the majors, the minors, or even in the winter leagues. And we checked.
Like the Red Sox did a good job of scouting that whole thing, because that fly ball to left field off the bat of Mookie Betts wasn't all that deep, and you're still talking about Sandy Leon being the runner on third, taking a chance with a normal left fielder. With Petit out there, they figured, we're gonna take this chance and we'll win.
The Red Sox falling behind to Lincecum and the Angels 2-0 in the second. Bounding ball toward the hole, but Pedroia fills that and gets him to retire the side. But Porcello roughed up to the tune of 2 runs. Red Sox quickly behind 2-0 heading to the 3rd. Red Sox moment honoring the '86 Red Sox, and in game number 101 the Red Sox would beat the Royals 5-3. Jim Rice had 3 hits and drove in 2 runs for the Red Sox. Jim Rice was inducted into the Paw Sox Hall of Fame tonight. Another honor.
A lot of Hall of Fames.
Yeah. Rocco leading things off here in the 3rd. Red Sox are down 2-0 against a pitcher with an .870 earned run average. Brock .257 with 5 homers and 25 RBIs. Then Betts and Pedroia will get their second look at Lincecum. A little bit high for a ball at 72. Well, even in his prime as a Giant, the Red Sox hammered Lincecum. Sharply hit. Choi scoops it up and gets the out. And Brock Holt is retired. He is 0-2 with an ERA of 10.13 lifetime against Boston. That was when he had really good stuff, but he has settled in after the back-to-back walks to begin the night. He's retired 7 in a row. Mookie Betts got nothing to swing at first time up. He took ball 4. Was a bit lost in last night's defeat that the Red Sox managed only 1 run against Jared Weaver, who never broke 86 miles an hour. They roll out back-to-back starters. They're only throwing in the 86 to 89 range.
Talked to Chili Davis about that, and he said it just seemed like guys really weren't comfortable at the plate, and even when they did hit the ball hard, balls that could have and should have fallen in didn't. It's that way all night.
0-2. So explain that one to me, because when I hear guys aren't comfortable, it's usually against guys who throw 100 miles an hour.
Well, it's one or the other. I mean, when a guy's throwing 100, you have to do everything a lot quicker than you're used to doing. And when a guy's throwing 83 miles an hour like Weaver was doing, you have to slow it down. Guys aren't comfortable slowing down. They want to get things ready to go. They got to get geared up to hit. Get you out on your front foot. You don't have balance to take your full swing anymore.
Socia also pulled him at just the right time. Here's the 2-2. And another ball 3. DraftKings is the official one-day fantasy baseball partner of the Red Sox. Experience the thrill of playing on DraftKings now. Play free daily using the promo code NESSON at DraftKings.com. And he walked him again.
That pitch right there for Lincecum is going to be trouble for him later on in this game for guys like Mookie Betts. That ball that he's letting go a little too late, and it's just sailing up and into the lefties. If he starts thinking about throwing that out over and that comes inside to a guy like Betts, he's going to hurt him with it.
So base runner for Dustin Pedroia, who took 4 straight pitches outside the strike zone and walked in the first inning. Well, the Red Sox could not bring either one of them in, and now they're trailing 2-0. Pedroia has now reached base in 32 consecutive games, incidentally, and that's the longest active streak in the majors.
There goes Lincecum again, losing the strike zone.
Betts lengthening out that lead. He's running. Got a great jump. And the throw trickles away, and he's in there with a stolen base. So Mookie Betts with a theft, running on Perez, and in a scoring position.
Perez did a great job, really, when you think about it, because Betts had a good jump and go. And look at the curveball. Big old curveball. Takes forever to get to the plate, and Perez made it close. If you catch the ball down there at second base, look at that pitch to run on. Would have been a very, very close play at second if you just catch it.
And the pitch to Pedroia is high and tight at 79. So base hit could get the Red Sox on the board. Bogart's on deck. Pedroia's hit safely in 8 straight. Bogart's 10 in a row. The 3-0. And he's walked him again. So he's walked both Betts and Pedroia twice.
And Pedroia on 4 pitches twice?
That's right. Well, Sunday at 8. Don't miss the Ultimate Red Sox show presented by AAA. Dave Dombrowski talks about the Sox options heading into the trade deadline. Plus, we recap the 7th annual Run to Home Base. That's Sunday at 8, only on NESN. Xander Bogaerts struck out after the back-to-back walks in the first inning, and that felt like the key at bat.
I don't think Bogey's going to let that happen again.
He did not advance anybody. And again, that plate is moving around on Lincecum. Xander Bogaerts, number 2 in the majors in hits with 136. Soft breaking ball will miss. Now 2-0. He could not entice Bogaerts.
Completely different pitcher now is Lincecum. When he was winning his Cy Youngs, he was throwing a lot of pitches that weren't strikes.
And now there goes Betts, and he puts on the brakes, and he is going to be tagged out. And for the second night in a row, Mookie Betts, usually a very reliable base runner, is put out in a base running mistake.
This was very odd from Lincecum. I'm not I'm not as sure about this rule. When he spins, doesn't that left foot have to come down? Watch him turn around. Never puts his left foot. Oh, there he does, I guess, but right about at the mound.
Pedroia holding at first base. And Mookie Betts probably would have been wiser just to continue the run instead of slamming on the brakes like that.
Yep. Once you're left out to dry, he had a great jump, but Lincecum smelled it out. You might as well just keep going. Boy, that's 2 in 2 nights.
So now 2 down, swing and a line shot that's into the alley. That's going to drop down and head up against the fence. Dustin Pedroia heading into third base, going to try and score. Here he comes. The throw to the plate. He's in. And down to third base, Bogaerts. And the Red Sox are on the board. That'll make it 2-1. So finally, one of those walks comes in to score and hurts Lincecum.
Well, we said we didn't think Bogaerts would have the same kind of at-bat where he struck out again. Excellent relay play here. Watch Perez pretty much blocking the plate without the ball. It's kind of a no-no these days. Here comes Petey storming around. Perez makes the mistake of reaching out to get the ball and then trying to come back in and make the tag. Never caught it.
Bogaerts a double. He takes third on the throw, and the Red Sox, if David Ortiz can come through here, can tie this thing up very early. Ortiz 0 for 1 with a fly to left so far tonight after reaching base 3 times last night. 1 for 2, 2 walks. .64 RBIs now for Xander Bogaerts. Lincecum has thrown 48 pitches. He has missed with 29 of them.
Jeez. And he's winning the game 2-1.
At least at the moment. There's a line shot, sliced down the line. Another run is in. Here comes Bogaerts to score. David Ortiz with his 85th RBI. And the Red Sox have tied it up.
Another reason it makes David Ortiz the player that he is. He knows Lincecum isn't going to be challenging him with any fastballs or anything like that. That's a fastball right there. But at 81, down and away, David just takes what he's given him. You want to throw it down there on that corner? I'll hit it down into the other corner. I'll pick up the RBI and get a hit.
And Ramirez now, he's 0 for 1 with a check swing comebacker. And the first one in there for strike 1. Hanley has seen a fair amount of Lincecum in their days together in the National League. He's handled them all right too. 9 for 27, 333 with a home run.
You know, Dave, we've seen some sloppy play in the early going on this one, certainly in last night's game late. But in Mookie Betts' defense, he had a great jump there, and I would have got caught on the same move. That spin move, you don't know when it's coming, and if you're trying to steal, you got to go as soon as he lifts his leg. And if he's deciding to spin around and get you, you've got no chance.
You know, personally, I'm not in love with him going anywhere. He's already in scoring position.
Yep, that's an excellent point. Doesn't have to be at third.
And you get your heavy hitters up. And that is high. So the count, once again, a 3-ball count, 3-1 on Hanley.
With Mookie's speed, he's in scoring position when he falls out of bed.
Yeah, that would be my point. And twice in back-to-back games now, he's been put out on the bases. You hate to see that. 3-1. Would not chase. Ball 4. He's walked another one. That's 5 now in the game. Wow. Runners will be on at first and second.
Here comes Charlie Nagy.
A Tuesday, August 9th is David Ortiz bobblehead night at Fenway. The first 15,000 fans receive a David Ortiz bobblehead courtesy of WB Mason. For tickets and more information, visit redsox.com/promos.
I was about to say the biggest difference between Lincecum now and before, when he was winning his Cy Youngs, he was throwing a lot of pitches that really weren't strikes, but he made them look like strikes, and he had that extra velocity. He was tough. Now he's throwing a lot of balls out of the strike zone. He can't get the ball over the plate, and he's trying to throw strikes. So he's a completely different guy, and it's not working out for him.
He's had a great career. He's thrown 2 no-hitters. Talked about the 2 Cy Youngs. He was the Rookie of the Year in the National League in 07. But it's certainly looking like very close to the end of the line at 32 years old for Lincecum. Red Sox have now put 5 consecutive men on base against him. Jackie Bradley trying to make it 6. It's a high pop into center. Long run out for Simmons, coming on Trout. And that'll do it. But the Red Sox have tied it. We go to the bottom of the third. 2-2 our score in Anaheim. Baseball trade deadline is coming up on Monday afternoon. Nesson has you covered. Tom Caron will be hosting a live 2-hour trade deadline special starting at 5:30. Delighted as always to welcome in the great Alex Spear with us of 108 Stitches and the Boston Globe. And how are you enjoying Southern California?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's tough to imagine how difficult it must be for everyone to live here, but it's good to see that they've adjusted.
I can tell you how it's really expensive. Is this your first trip out?
No, I've actually been here a number of times, especially when the Red Sox seemingly every year were in the postseason against the Angels.
That's right.
Yeah, that was a regular occurrence. Red Sox tied up right now 2-2 with the Halos here, and Escobar leading things off. He's 0 for 1 with a line out to second base, and he cuts through that one.
Wow.
And down he goes as Porcello makes very fast work of him. These one-run losses, these really gut-wrenching losses like last night, they have been part of this Red Sox season. There have been some great wins, but some of these losses, they really stick.
Those are the ones where you have so many opportunities to go back and look at the failures of execution, and really that's what they are. I mean, that was a game yesterday where they ran into a number of outs or cost themselves a number of opportunities based on what was happening on the bases yesterday, and then beyond that, of course, seeing a couple of defensive miscues, which were inspired in no small part by the guy in the on-deck circle, Mike Trout, who underrated is what a force of nature he is with his ability to go home to first.
You think he's underrated?
I think that the base running part of his game is in fact underrated.
Wow.
The fact that he's a sub-4 runner from the sub-4 seconds from home to first from the right side, there are maybe a handful of guys in the major leagues who can run that well out of the box.
Oh yeah, I mean he's a huge guy who just hauls.
And his first step quickness.
First step quick is so explosive.
Yeah, I mean I think that's the difference. He's fast and quick. A lot of guys are fast, but when you're that size, it takes a little while to get going, but it does not take him too long to get going.
Especially given that he has a stroke that's geared to just launch the ball. And so being able to combine those traits, that's why the 30-30 guy is such a rarity. And that's why he's such just a phenomenal player, a generational player, really.
He's hit 19 home runs, 65 runs batted in. All the great defense as well. There's a tremendous photograph that they have right at the press elevator when you come in here to the Big A of the catch he made. I think it was against Baltimore, where he went, it felt like 5 feet over the rim, you know, like if you were dunking a basketball, that's how high he would have been. An amazing leaping catch.
And he was one thing that also really impressed me today was getting here at 3:15. He was out for early batting practice. This is a guy who's top 5 in the American League in hitting, and nonetheless, he was there with Daniel Nava, you know, a part-time guy, in order to get those extra hacks in and do his work.
Yeah, they were telling me that not only Trout and Calhoun, the guys hitting right now, those two guys spend a lot of time together, and they come out early working on just different fundamental plays that go along with the game. Both of these guys trying to get better even at the major league level.
You hear coaches and managers talk about it all the time, how valuable it is when your best players are your best workers. Obviously, the Angels would, you know, revel in having Mike Trout, but they would love to see that translate to greater team success around him.
Well, that brings, I think, a question that might sound a little bit crazy, but I think you've considered it, and a lot of others have too, as Calhoun takes one outside. Here's a question. Would they trade him? Because they're going nowhere this year. It doesn't look like the Angels are going to be a factor for the next couple of years, maybe the next several years. If they traded him, they could get a mother load of prospects or even big league ready players. The 3-2 pitch trickled foul. What do you think? Any chance?
I think it's almost impossible to imagine how a team would be able to find fair value for Mike Trout in a way that it would. A deal for him is almost inconceivable. The Angels could sit there and offer him to the Red Sox and ask for Bogarts and Betts and Bradley back. And, you know, that wouldn't be an unreasonable ask for them. But it would be parting with such an enormous package of talent at the big league level for the Red Sox that it's just a deal that's almost impossible to consummate, particularly given the importance of this guy to a franchise.
Hard hit, but snagged by Bogarts on the bounce.
And you're also talking about trading away your biggest star player. So if you trade him away, sure, you get other good players back, but you don't get the franchise type player that he is right now and will continue to be for this organization. All right, Pujols was, but he isn't anymore.
Here's the debate. If the franchise player is not going to lead you to the promised land by himself, not his fault, and you can trade for 5 or 6 guys who collectively can get you there, why wouldn't you make that deal?
You have to have someone that sells tickets.
The signal that it sends to send away your best player, it's just such a difficult thing. And this is a market especially that's conscious of perception. Artie Moreno has always been an owner for the Angels who's looked to put a team in position to contend. They've never taken that step back to rebuild, and they continue to talk about this is not even a consideration.
But you know what? This is a Friday night. Red Sox are in town. Beautiful night. There are a lot of empty seats here. And there are a lot of empty seats these days whenever they play. That one stung, And Trout gets robbed by Hill and makes a really fine play. We'll continue this conversation.
Sounds great.
All right, Alex, thank you very much. We're tied up 2-2 at the end of 3. Top of the 4th inning, tied 2-2 as Aaron Hill takes ball 1. He's 0 for 1 with a fly to center. Hannigan and Holt after him is Lincecum, who's been all over the place, misses again. And chatting with Alex Spear of the Boston Globe, Dave O'Brien and Steve Lyons with it, Garen Austin as well. Hill with outstanding numbers against this pitcher, 11 out of 23, and takes a strike. No, we were talking about trades. And both of you shooting down any possibility at any time in his career that Mike Trout will ever be traded, even though we all know Wayne Gretzky was traded and a lot of big time stars have been traded.
Well, never say never.
Oh, you're not saying never now?
No,
okay.
Certainly not
prime.
never. No, I think that I simply think that in the immediate term, it hasn't arrived at the point where the Angels are ready to think about that move, even though they are a team that looks like a candidate for a full rebuild, but they seem to be resisting that for as long as they can.
Up the middle, a base hit for Hill, who continues to hit Lincecum.
It is extraordinary how difficult a time he has retiring right-handed hitters. Until in his last 6 starts before tonight, he hadn't retired more than 2 in a row in any of those starts.
Wow.
Yeah, his numbers have been
How
off
do you
the
find
charts,
that stuff?
I don't sleep much, Steve.
I guess not. You went through every box score. Look at, well, you got that one, then he didn't get this one. He got that one, he didn't get that one.
Hannigan is 0 for 1 with a fly to left. And Brock Holt after him. We are tied up 2-2 as we chat with Alex Spear. And Alex, if I were to say to you right now, you have to tell me, are the Red Sox making a deal at the deadline or not making one? What is your gut telling you?
My gut, and this, I think that they're non-committal in terms of everything that I've heard directly from officials with the Red Sox. But my guess is that they'll make something, maybe a smaller move to bolster their bullpen. A couple of nights ago, we saw that game where Robbie Ross Jr. took the loss by staying in kind of a couple lefties too long. And you think about, well, it probably would have been advantageous for the Red Sox to have another left-on-left option as Ross was getting into that 3rd inning. They haven't had that effective guy to be that complement. They don't have that other reliable knockout option against left-handed hitters late in the games, and I think there are instances where it's costing them. And so that was kind of the tell to me. The fact that Ross was left in that situation, it seemed like they were just a card short in the deck.
The 2-1 to Hannigan. He chops that one foul.
Of course, Tommy Lane is out there, another lefty, but he has not been effective in that situation.
He was really good last year, but on-base percentage of .361, I think, by left-handed hitters against him. And so that was a bases-loaded situation where if you give up a walk, the guy's in. And, of course, Ross ended up giving up that walk. But that was to me, an interesting indicator of where the Red Sox are in terms of the pieces that they have to play through the late innings.
Up top for a ball here on Hannigan. We are tied up 2-2.
Alex, doesn't it feel like, with the entire front office out here on the West Coast, that they are poised and ready to pull the trigger on a big deal if it arises for them?
Well, a lot of times the front office is always going to be together like that at the trade deadline. The difference this year versus previous years is that they're doing so on the road. In past years, you would oftentimes have the front office blowing off the road trip and just staying cloistered in the offices while the trade deadline is coming.
Runner goes, and it's inside ball 4. So that is 6 walks already issued by Lincecum, and he walks a guy hitting in the 170s. I'll say this, I've never seen this before. Now, Dave Dombrowski travels on almost every trip. It's not unusual for Dave at all. But to see Mike Hazen and Frank Wren and everybody else, their telephones.
Sam Kennedy's here.
Sam Kennedy's here as well. The ownership is not far away. That has a different feel for me.
I agree, although it was interesting to see that the Tigers front office was out in full force at Fenway just a few days ago as well, which, of course, you know, Al Avila, the GM there, had worked with Dave Dombrowski for many years. But I agree. I've never seen anything like this on this kind of traveling road show at the trade deadline. But it makes all the sense in the world, because when you have the trade deadline, things pivot really, really quickly. Offers come together quickly. You need to have everyone there so that you can consider all of the different ramifications, the talent you're acquiring.
Line shot, base hit by Brock Holt. Hills into third and stopping there. The bases are going to be loaded with nobody out, and Mookie Betts coming up.
There's the talent you're acquiring. There's the talent that you're giving up. So you need to have people who have a good feel for the minor league system. There are the finances that you're taking on, and so you have to have the people who are going to be in a great position to let you know, well, this is something that will fit or will not fit within our payroll structure.
It's a great point. And Dave Dombrowski's style is to push it right down as Chacin gets throwing in their bullpen, right down to the final moments. In fact, one of the last deals, it might have been the last deal he made with the Tigers, when he acquired Michael Fulmer, who pitched so well the other day at Fenway, and that was for Cespedes. That came down to the last 4 minutes before the trade deadline, and he forced that move and got it through, and that's how David works.
And that's a good reminder of how the trade deadline works more broadly, because the Tigers had been saying, kind of up into that final week before the trade deadline, not selling, not selling, not selling.
Right.
And then all of a sudden their circumstances changed in a way that it led them in a very different direction at the trade deadline. And you look at these coming games for the Red Sox, these are literally pivotal games for the season, and what they decide to do.
As Betts will take one down, low ball 1.
If they lose a couple more games, does that change your incentive to make a move or not make a move leading into this trade deadline? It's really interesting, because the Red Sox right now, 55 wins in their first 100 games. That puts them right on that fault line of teams that do and don't make the playoffs in this 10-team playoff format. There have been 11 teams with 55 wins through 100 games. Of those, 5 ended up making the playoffs, 6 ended up missing it. They're right on the fault line right now.
But aren't they also like a game and a half away from the best record in the American League?
The pitcher's inside.
A crazy thing.
Absolutely. It's a great point. And that, too, says something about how the trade deadline has changed in this world of a 10-team playoff. When there are 10 spots for the playoffs, there are a lot more teams in it. And there are a lot of teams that believe that they're just that one move away.
The 3-0, and that is in there for a strike, and a bit of a generous call there to make it 3-1.
Again.
Mookie has walked twice already tonight.
Just disproving my theory all night long of, if you're not going to be close to the plate, I'm not giving you anything. He's getting a lot.
Interestingly, 3-0 pitches in baseball are called differently, than any other count.
Yeah, they sure are.
It's automatic.
Yeah, there's an extra 6 inches to the plate.
3-1 coming. And a high fly to center field, driving back Trout. Has room to make the catch. Hill is back to tag, and he'll be in to score. Hannigan goes from second to third, and the Red Sox have their first lead tonight, 3-2. That is 67 RBIs from your leadoff man. Mookie Betts with the run batted in.
This is the pitch that we were talking about before, that I thought that Lincecum would get in trouble with bats if he let that ball sail up out over the middle of the plate. He did, and Mookie didn't quite get all of it, but he got enough for the sacrifice fly.
So they'll send up Pedroia with runners at first and third. Red Sox trying to add on now as they're out in front 3-2 against a wild Tim Lincecum. And wild at about 85.
I could be wrong, but it just seems like there's no carry to the big part of the field in Anaheim at night.
Nope. Ball doesn't, same thing at Dodger Stadium. This is heavy air in Southern California. These parks play much bigger than they look. It's funny, we're talking about the entire front office being here. Let's face it, this road trip wasn't going through Cleveland. It's coming to Southern California, up to Seattle, all great places to go.
Yeah.
Sam Kennedy's here. He's enjoying a nice little West Coast vacation with his son while he's working. It's an excellent opportunity to come on out. There's Sam.
Sam with his boy Jim. And the rest of the gang. Here comes the 1-1. Hard hit. Shortstop with it. Simmons to Petit. One on to first and a double play. Dustin Pedroia doubled up. So the Red Sox have to settle for one run. And could not blow up the inning. Alex, thanks. 3-2. Red Sox lead it. Last half of the fourth, and Rick Porcello pitching with a lead for the first time tonight, and he'll take on Pujols, Nava, and Simmons. A victory for Rick Porcello tonight. He'll be 14-2. It fires into strike, and if the Red Sox win, they would also pull to within 1.5 of the Orioles. Although we were talking about that same scenario this time last night. Pujols with a base hit first time up, and he's got another one over the leaping Bogarts. 2 for 2 for the future Hall of Famer. Time for a game break, brought to you by Jordan's, the furniture store, the Boston Red Sox, and here's Adam Pellerin. And thank you very much. Red Sox leading here 3-2. Daniel Nava steps in, a double first time up, and he scored a run. He was driven in on a ground out by Simmons. At that point, they'd made it 2-0 Angels. Red Sox have rallied to score 3 times against Tim Lincecum, who has walked 6 to help the Boston cause tonight.
I'll tell you, for a guy who's walked that many this early, he's wiggled out of everything. Red Sox have left a ton of guys on base and had some missed opportunities already.
Fouled back by Nava, who is 4 for 7 lifetime against Rick Porcello. As a Detroit Tiger, Porcello did not enjoy facing the Angels. He went 4-6 with a 6.82 ERA in 13 starts against them. So not among his favorite opponents. Nava, of course, a double play candidate. Pujols at first base. Now, the Angels were going to compete this year. They needed a full healthy year out of their staff ace, Garrett Richards. But in early May, they lost him to Tommy John. There's a shot down the line, but slicing foul. That's a blow they could not recover from. C.J. Wilson is on the DL. So a couple of their big stars in a rotation gone.
Heaney as well, DL'd.
Yeah, they've had a highly disappointing year. Last year they did have a winning record, 85-77 under Socha. He was now in his 17th year as their manager.
Got a couple years left on that deal, and you're wondering, is he ever in trouble a season like this? And the feeling is he's kind of getting a pass this year because of all those injuries. Trying to compete without a pitching staff's awfully difficult to do.
Into left center field, Jackie Bradley on the move. He runs it down. A nice backhanded play, and Pujols retreats to first base.
Daniel Nava's seen that happen a lot to opposing players. JBJ running down a gapper.
Tune in to NESN on August 29th and 30th for coverage of the WEEI NESN Jimmy Fund Radio Telethon, presented by Arbella Insurance Foundation. Arbella Insurance Foundation, here for the Jimmy Fund, here for good.
This is what Nava was talking about, hitting the ball hard, but not finding a way to get hits. He got one earlier today. He's not getting that one.
Andrelton Simmons is 0 for 1, but drove in a run with a ground out to short. Takes a breaking ball for a strike. Simmons, a very tough man to strike out. Makes excellent contact.
This is where you'd like to see Porcello use that sinking fastball, get a ground ball double play.
1-1. Porcello has gone 6-0 in his last 8 starts, an earned run average of .286. But he's won on the road just 1 time since the end of April. Of course, he's 10-0 at Fenway. Got a little different story on the road. Hot shot down with it. Pedroia to Bogart's one. Cross the bag. The throw in time. That's a nifty double play. Turned by Pedroia, Bogarts, and Ramirez. 3-2. Let's go down to Garen Austin.
Thanks, OV. Well, Boston native Steve Russo is here tonight, and he's experiencing a VIP weekend along with his wife, Marianne, courtesy of the Red Sox organization, who are showing their appreciation for 50 years of service. Russo started working at Fenway Park in 1967, and he currently works in media dining. Russo said that he can't even put into words how incredible this experience has been. He says it's been right up there with receiving his World Series rings. And guys, we see Steve every day, always has a smile on his face, such a great guy, and he gives me free food.
Oh, no wonder you're so fond.
Exactly. Such a great guy. Great to see him here.
Xander Bogaerts flies to right field. Steve is the franchise.
You do not see a happier guy at the stadium every night than he is.
He is a great, great fella. One of those guys you can't do without. 1967 he started with the Red Sox.
Goodness. I mean, he's in just such the perfect position, too, because everyone strolls right by him. He's got a great word for everyone.
He's a
Very
sweetheart.
nice.
Yep.
And excellent of the organization to put this trip together for he and his wife.
He earned it. Big Papi 1 for 2 with an RBI single and a fly to left, and he skies a pop-up on the infield.
While it's still up there, Papi enjoys long walks in the rain. And
catch made by Simmons for the second out. That was up there a long time.
Could go through his whole bio before that thing came down. You have to wipe the snow off that ball when you catch it.
So David 1 for 3. Hanley Ramirez will be up next. Red Sox leading it here 3-2 on a very pleasant night here in Southern California. Red Sox are going to Seattle for 4 games after this series. This is a 4-gamer. The one in Seattle is a 4-gamer, and then head back to Los Angeles to face the Dodgers. And a 3-game series before finally coming home. A strike on Hanley. He's grounded to the pitcher. He's also taken ball 4.
Unfortunately, in this inning, when you think you might have Lynch come on the ropes headed into the 5th inning, got 2 very quick outs here.
Hanley 6 for 12 against the Angels this season. He looks at a strike. Lincecum started at the University of Washington with that very authentic windup that his father helped him develop back in high school. His father, Chris. And Lincecum would win the Golden Spikes Award in '06 in college as the top college player in America.
Everybody in the world wanted to change that windup. He said no way.
He also pitched for the Harwich Mariners in the Cape Cod League. So he has a New England connection. 0-2. Hard hit but foul.
I think a lot of the scouts, a lot of people around baseball thought that with his slight frame there was no way that he can continue to throw the ball the way he does and not get injured. Well, he did it really well for a long time.
Still only 32 years old. 0-2 coming. Sox fans looking for the best seats to the biggest games. Check out the official Red Sox ticket resale marketplace at RedSoxReplay.com. The best place for season ticket holders to sell their tickets when they can't make it to the game. Two down, bases empty. Sox ahead 3-2. And he was out in front. Down he goes for strike 3, and the Red Sox go 1-2-3. Nesson is proud to support the Men's Warehouse National Suit Drive in July. When you make a donation of gently used professional clothing in any Men's Warehouse, you help men and women look their best as they re-enter the workforce. Learn more at nationalsuitdrive.com. Well, we're at the midway point near Game 2 of this 4-game series. Game 2 of an 11-game road trip. Certainly a crossroads road swing for the Red Sox. Lost a heartbreaker last night, leading this one 3-2 behind Rick Porcello. Ji-Man Choi, the big first baseman from South Korea, said he grew up wanting to be Shin-Soo Choo, his countryman. He was turned into a fine major leaguer. 0 for 1 tonight with a tapper to second. Choi, a switch hitter. Cuts and misses. 1-2. Porcello has stayed away from ball 4, as is typically the case. Here's the 1-2. And he strikes him out. Caught him looking. One man gone in the 5th for the Angels.
I wanted to go back to that double play ball that Bogaerts turned at second base. Sometimes he makes this play a little strangely, like he doesn't get back to the right foot to throw off. Watch him slide the foot across the bag. That's fine, but you should crow hop right there and throw it off the right foot. He throws it off the wrong foot after he comes across the bag, and sometimes that makes his throws a little awkward.
Here's Carlos Perez, the catcher. 1 for 1, an RBI single.
That slide across the bag with his right foot is where everybody thought, oh, that's the neighborhood play. A lot of times the guys don't actually hit the base. They almost always hit the base. But you should take another quick step to get that right foot under you, get your left foot out, and throw off of that foot. And Bogaerts many times does not.
Time is granted to Perez. I'm sure most Red Sox fans will not soon forget the 21-2 that the Angels laid on the Sox at Fenway back on July 2nd. In that game, Perez, batting here, tallied a career high 6 RBIs. Just the 4th 6 RBI game by an Angel catcher in about 10 years. That's in there for a called strike. Two. Knocked foul out of play. You see this a lot with pitchers in particular. They'll stick with a cap when they're really rolling. That's a cap that sticks back.
Sweat stains and all. It's hard to get it off of his head, I bet. Bogaerts, another one famous for having a filthy, dirty hat.
Whatever works. 2-2.
Hanley Ramirez with all the pine tar on his batting helmet, so much so you couldn't even see the B. Look at the back of Bogey's hat. That's a lot of dirt.
The 2-2 again to the catcher, Carlos Perez. Just outside.
See the outfield defensive alignment against Perez, with Jackie Bradley Jr. playing really to the opposite field. A lot of room in left center field.
Here's the payoff pitch. Lunging, and he popped it foul, back out of play. Ace Ticket is Boston's trusted source for Red Sox tickets. The best seats at the lowest prices, from bleachers to boxes. Visit aceticket.com or call 1-800-MY-SEATS. And for much of the season, Stephen Wright has performed like the staff ace, but as we head to August, it's really been Porcello who's turned into the #1 guy, Mr. Reliable, at 13-2. And a perfect 10-0 at Fenway. 3-2 with an ERA of 4.02 on the road. This would be a very big road win for him tonight. Here comes the 3-2. Bogaerts will dig that out and throw him out. 2 up and 2 down. And Petit will be next.
Well, I just said something about Bogaerts, the way he turned the double play. I didn't like a thing that I saw. Now I'll show you something I do like. I have no problem with Major League infielders going down to a knee to catch a ground ball like that. They teach us that way from when we're little leaguers. You see big leaguers do it too. He just wants to make sure he's down and in front of that ball so it can't get past him. Got plenty of time to stand up and throw him out.
Petit 0 for 1 with a tapper to second. And he'll take a strike. Sitting .342 in his last 31 games, so he's been a tough out. Nobody aboard, and the 1-1. High chop on the infield. Slicing over Hill, throws and gets him. And Porcello gets them 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, he's looking good, isn't he?
Lincecum's pitching line. It's brought to you by your Eastern Lexus dealer. Kind of amazing he's in the game.
He's still in there.
He's walked 6 men.
Red Sox have not been able to put him away. They haven't really been able to string too many things together on him. Finds a way to wiggle his way out of it.
Jackie Bradley right now trying to figure him out. He was struck out in the 2nd inning admiring a pitch. He's also flied to center after going 0 for 4 last night. In fact, he's never had a hit in this ballpark.
Wow.
Jackie's 0 for 14 at Angel Stadium.
A little more patient in this at bat. Through his first few at bats in this series, a little over aggressive maybe.
High fly ball right field. Well struck. Calhoun back at the track, feeling for the wall, leaps, it's gone. That's a nice first hit in the ballpark, and that puts the Red Sox in front 4-2. Jackie with his 17th home run.
Decided to look at a few pitches first and then unload.
Number 17, his 62nd RBI.
Big breaking ball, sat all over it, and then launched. And we talked when this game started that if you're facing Lincecum, you should almost feel like you're going to see a breaking ball on every pitch.
Out he comes. Speedway, proud to be New England's first choice for value and convenience. For every Red Sox homer, Speedway donates money to the Boston Children's Hospital. All summer long, stop at Speedway and get any size fountain or frozen drink for just 69 cents. Jackie touches them all, and we'll be back in a moment. Aaron Hill swings immediately. A comebacker to Chacin, who has just entered the fray, and he lobs on to first to get him. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Kia. Julius Chacin out of the bullpen during his major league career. Just 21 out of 149 appearances have come out of the bullpen, so he's used to starting.
Yes, he is.
And we'll do battle now to Ryan Hanigan. Red Sox in front 4-2.
You kind of wonder, with all the issues they've had with their starters and the fact that so many of them have been hurt, wonder why he hasn't had his opportunities.
They've got another issue with a starter, and his name is Tim Lincecum. Red Sox knock him out. Does not get an out in the fifth. He walked 6 men. Gave up 4 runs on 5 hits. And the strange thing is the Red Sox should have done a lot more damage. In the 6th inning, knocked out of the game, and that is in there for a called strike.
Yeah, they would get guys on base, and then he'd find a little way to wiggle out of it. Maybe the guys got a little over aggressive, trying to do some serious damage. But as it stands, 4-2 Red Sox.
And now under the hoodie. Hanigan is flied out, and he's also taken ball 4, one of the 6 walks issued by Lincecum. And all of them came in the first 4 innings. He did work a 1-2-3 fifth. Now home run to Jackie Bradley, and he's out. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. And that is over but low. Only one of the men that he walked came in to score.
Yeah, it's amazing. Does put a big strain on your bullpen when you're into the bullpen in the 6th inning every night.
In there, caught him looking, strike 3, so Hanigan will take a seat. 2 down. And the Red Sox 6th inning. And Brock Holt is next. He's 1 for 2 with a single. Rick Porcello will be attacking the top of the order in the bottom of the 6th inning, including Mike Trout. There's a high strike one on Brock Holtz. A single and a tapper to first base tonight for Brock.
See the shift they're putting on Brock Holt, which amazes me. A lot of teams now have gone to pitching Holt hard inside. See the shift to the right side when he's a guy who loves to hit the ball to the left side. A lot of times if you're going to shift, then you pitch into the shift. You see him going in.
Chacin was acquired from Atlanta back on May 11th in a trade. The Red Sox had seen him when he was pitching for the Braves, but he was a starter at that point. And a count 2 balls 2 strikes. Sox have lost their last 4 games, 6 out of the last 7. That was on the heels of a 9-1 stretch. As Holt skips out of the way, 3 balls 2 strikes.
They went from their best stretch of the season to the worst, all in a matter of about 16 games.
Yep, trying to snap that tonight. And in front 4-2. Toronto beat Baltimore 6-5 as that one is bounded foul. Mookie Betts is on deck. Mookie's just hoping that he'll face a pitcher tonight who will throw him strikes. He hardly got anything to swing at when Lincecum was in the game. Lincecum walked him twice. He also walked Dustin Pedroia twice.
Betts technically doesn't have a plate appearance tonight.
3-2, hard hit, but picked up by Choi at first base. That'll be all for the Red Sox, but they add a run on the Jackie Bradley home run. The game on NESN Sports Today. We have highlights and reaction right here in Anaheim, plus a recap of today's Pats training camp session. That's tonight after the game on NESN Sports Today, presented by People's United Bank. A high chop foul, strike one on Escobar, underway here in the last half of the 6th inning. A 4-2 Boston lead. Both of these teams are 13-9 in the month of July. It's a big uptick for this Angels team. So they have been playing better baseball lately, although last night got very lucky. Popped into right, long charge in for Betts, and plenty of time. He makes that play in fair territory for the out. And Escobar's 0 for 3. Attention Red Sox Nation, there's a reason why the Red Sox and the rest of America run on Duncan. because Dunkin's iced coffee is consistently smooth and delicious. Dunkin' Donuts coffee, the #1 coffee in New England. The Boston Red Sox run on Dunkin'.
Well, after that little blip on the radar screen there in the 2nd inning, where Pujols singled and then Nava doubled past Bradley. A couple runs scored there. I'll tell you what, Porcello's been very, very good. Starting to get used to it, aren't we?
Trying to go to 14-2.
He grinds his way through starts, but he gets it done.
I was talking to Mark Gubas, their Angels lead television analyst, and he said that was the thing that really impressed him the most about Porcello, more than any one pitch. You know, even more than the sinker. He said it's that ability, the mentality to gut his way through the difficult spots,
keep coming,
minimize the damage, which he's done really well this season, exceptionally well. He's gotten out of some big time jams and pitched his way to a win.
His pitch total tonight is amazing when you think about it. Into the 6th now with just 65 pitches.
Cole Calhoun here 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground to short. And the fastball not called a strike. 2-1. Looked like a pretty good pitch.
Yeah, I'll tell you, this year more than any other year, I think I've complained about how many low strikes have been called. Not so much tonight.
Mark Ripperger, the home plate umpire. 1 man out. Here's the 2-1. That'll be down for a base hit.
He can hit.
Calhoun is 1 for 3. Came in 5 for 8, 2 homers against Porcello.
After he missed with that fastball down in the zone, you got to catch a little bit more of the plate next time, and then Calhoun's sitting all over it. Ball just a little away from him. He's not trying to pull it. Shoots it right back up the middle.
So Trout will step in. One-time MVP, won the most valuable player at the age of 23. Not quite 25 years old. He won't be until August 7th.
And with the years he put together, the 2 previous seasons where he could have been the MVP as well, except for the fact Miggy Cabrera was winning a Triple Crown and having monster seasons of his own.
Cal Ripken, Vida Blue, Johnny Bench, and Stan Musial, the only others to win the MVP at a younger age than Mike Trout. He rips that one down the line, slicing for the corner. That's a foul ball. There's a side view of the swing of Mike Trout.
This one just fighting it off, gets in on his hands a little bit, but he's so strong.
Just about ready to move out of his parents' home in New Jersey.
What, did he get a raise?
Got engaged. Going to get married. Going to move right down the road to center field, but not terribly deep, and Jackie Bradley a bit to his right to put it away, and there are 2 down.
Excellent job right there by Porcello. 2 pitches in a row getting in his kitchen.
Sunday at 2 on a special trade deadline episode of Nessa Clubhouse. Joe Kelly shows us how to pitch off the mound. We also look back at some notable deadline deals. Nessa Clubhouse is presented by Delta Dental of Massachusetts. Albert Pujols now 2 for 2 with a pair of singles. 2 down, and Calhoun still at first base. Red Sox ahead 4-2 in the 6th. Albert Pujols and David Ortiz are very close friends. They are constantly messing with each other throughout this series, which will be the last series in a regular season that they will ever square off against each other. Pop foul back out of play. Certainly doesn't look like the Angels are going anywhere with their current record. They're in last place, 12.5 behind Texas.
Look at some of the numbers that the middle of this order can put up. They're a decent offensive ball club. We've talked extensively about the problems that they've had with their pitching. Pujols, when you look at the numbers, he's always been up over 300. He's hit only just 255 this year, but he still has the 19 homers and 78 RBIs.
It's had a fine year so far. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Porcello. Bounding ball and a foul.
I remember talking to Jeff Kent. He was playing with the Dodgers, and he said, I don't really consider myself to be a power hitter, a number 4 hitter. I consider myself to be a run producer. And that is what Albert Pujols is, a master run producer. If they're out there, he's going to get them in.
He's been a hit machine over the course of his career, over 2,700 hits. He should reach 3,000 at a decent age, and time is granted late by Ripperger as he went racing out of there. Probably a wise move.
Albert must have verbally called timeout. I didn't see him make a move. There he goes, timeout. He's yelling at it. He didn't take his hand off the bat or anything.
Oh, 2 high fly ball in the right field, driving back Betts, back to the wall, leaps, and he makes the play. An outstanding catch by Mookie Betts with a jump right up against the fence. One man left. At Angels Stadium, Red Sox have the lead 4-2 over the Halos. Steve Lyons, Dave O'Brien, and Garrett Austin with him, and Mookie Betts will lead it off. Red Sox trying to snap a 4-game skid here tonight. Mookie has walked twice. He's driven in a run with a sac fly and just made a fine running and leaping catch in right field.
That ball took off on a second gear. Mookie thought he had it under control, and then he had to.
Well, he jumps on this one deep down the line, but he's going to hammer it foul. It had the home run distance, but just not straight enough. Mookie in this ballpark is just 1 for 19.
A lot of Red Sox hitters have struggled here.
It has been a tough place over the years for the Sox offense. The 1-1 that'll miss. Back to his catch moments ago.
Yeah, I think he was fooled a little bit on the power to the opposite field. He's back there, and now he has to make an adjustment and get up and catch it. I think that ball fooled him just a little bit, but he still made the play.
Off balance swing there to make it 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pedroia on deck. Bogarts after him. Not been many hits in this game. The Sox have been held to 5. The Angels have been held to 5 by Rick Porcello. Fly to right, on the run Calhoun, and time to get there. 1 man out. We were talking about Albert Pujols moments ago. For more on that, let's go down to Guerin.
Thanks, Opie. Well, Tuesday, August 9th is David Ortiz bobblehead night at Fenway Park. The first 15,000 fans in attendance will be taking home an Ortiz bobblehead courtesy of WB Mason. For tickets and more information, you can visit redsox.com/promos. And guys, I was actually talking with Albert Pujols earlier, and he said Ortiz has been like a big brother to him. He's really encouraged him in his career and been such a great friend. And he said it meant so much to him to be able to present that gift to him last night. But guys, he said he had no idea he was going to jump up on him, and he's just really glad they both didn't go down.
He picked him up. You got to be some kind of strong to pick up David Ortiz.
Well, it's Albert Pujols.
He's some kind of strong.
Yes, he is. Evidenced by that last ball he just almost drilled off the right field wall that Mookie had to jump up and get.
David did look a little taken aback by the fact that he was being picked up off his feet. But it was his good friend. Pedroia with 2 walks. He's into a double play. That's toward the middle and get through for a base hit. So that'll extend his hitting streak to 9 in a row. A 1-out single here in the 7th inning for Dustin Pedroia. Bogarts next. Back to that ceremony and those 2 messing around. This has been a constant.
That's a lot of weight right there. See Trout and Alfredo Griffin with the sunglasses and the gold chains.
Yeah, that was their tribute to Big Papi. Gold chains.
So we just had Build a Poppy night, and now we're coming back for a Ortiz bobblehead night. That's the sign of a true star.
Season-long celebration. He has another RBI tonight. David does, number 85. Here's Xander Bogaerts taking one inside. He has struck out, doubled in a run, and also flied to right field. So Xander has run his hitting streak to 11 straight. He's hitting about .430 during it. Pedroia on with 1 down in the 7th. Across for a strike. Game 3 tomorrow night, an hour earlier at 9:05. That'll be Drew Pomeranz against Hector Santiago, a lefty. Red Sox going to face back-to-back left-handers. Stephen Wright goes on Sunday afternoon. And the 1-1 in there for a strike. Pomeranz coming off a pretty good outing in which he went 6 innings. But he is 0-1 with an ERA of 7. Looking for his first Red Sox W. 1-2. He skipped it up there. Stephen Wright on Sunday will be chasing his 13th win. Rick Porcello is already there. He's going for 14 tonight. And those 2 have really been the standouts in the rotation. Certainly Porcello and Wright.
I think you have to be encouraged by Pomeranz's start and also Erod. They both threw well enough to win.
There's a high deep drive to left field. That one might go. Now the back turning and kiss it goodbye. A 2-run homer for Xander Bogaerts. He's driven in 3 runs tonight. And the Red Sox take a 6-2 lead. He turned on that and drove it out for his 13th.
I think Xander was really disappointed with his very first at-bat after the back-to-back walks, and he struck out against Lincecum. Said, I'm not going to let any of that happen to me for the rest of the night. It's a breaking ball out over the middle of the plate. He's been so good on balls on the inner half over the last 2 months of the season.
Ooh.
You can't get that past him.
Robbie Ross Jr. had a chance for another hat catch, but did not come through on that one.
Yeah, where was he?
Here's David Ortiz now. He's gone 1 for 3 with an RBI single. A closer look at Robbie out there. He had the hat.
Oh, he had to jump up over the bench. That was the tough part.
David Ortiz trying to go back to back, looking for his 26th. 6-2 Boston.
If there's a home run ball anywhere near a Red Sox bullpen, Robbie Ross will be all over it.
The two hottest Red Sox teaming up there. Pedroia with the base hit, and then Xander Bogaerts with a 2-run shot. It's a new career high for Xander Bogaerts, 13 home runs.
That gives Porcello a little extra breathing room. He's been sailing right along lately, but I don't know a pitcher in the world that doesn't want a couple extra runs late.
And Rick Porcello getting the opportunity to snap a losing skid for the Red Sox tonight, and some support. Andy Ramirez on deck, only one away in the inning. And Chacin delivers, and that'll be in there for a strike. Wow. Ortiz can't believe it. It went around the plate, he said. He's right about that. He is called out. It's been a tough night for Ripperger. He's missed a bunch, and he missed one right there. Take a look at this.
Look where they set up off the plate. He's not even trying to frame that back.
Went around the plate.
Not going to change his mind.
So 2 down. As Ripperger rings up David Ortiz, and here's Hanley Ramirez, who's gone 0 for 2 with a walk. He has struck out and tapped back to the pitcher. Red Sox ahead 6-2. 7th inning.
Most major league hitters can handle it if you make some bad calls against them early in the count. They don't like strike 3. Don't take the bat out of my hands.
Yanked foul very sharply. Well, tomorrow at 8:30, don't miss Red Sox Game Day Live, presented by DCU. Adam Pellerin and Dennis Eckersley will preview Drew Pomeranz start tomorrow against the Angels. DCU, Digital Federal Credit Union. What can DCU save you? He needs a win for the Red Sox. Oh-2 is downstairs. At some point when you join a new ball club, it does become imperative you pitch your way to a victory.
It's a good thing.
And show your teammates, justify that trade.
National League All-Star this year.
Well, yeah. The credentials were very, very good. 2-2 on Hanley. Of course, he's coming from San Diego, so being back here in Southern California may do him some good. Big ballpark as well.
Well, you look at his 2 starts. He had one really bad blow-up inning. The rest of the time, he threw the ball pretty well. Well enough to win, especially in that second shot. Just no offensive help.
Yeah, the first start, it all fell apart for him in the 4th inning. He didn't get an out, but second start, he pitched very efficiently. Curveball is outstanding. In the inning, a 2-run homer by Xander Bogaerts, and that'll be in there for strike 3. And Ramirez caught looking at the Red Sox, had a pair, now lead at 6-2. is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by buyatoyota.com, Toyota's website for deals. Sox in front 6-2 at the Big A in Anaheim. Not a lot of hits in the game, but the Red Sox just got a home run from Xander Bogaerts in support of Rick Porcello, so he has a cushion. And will face Daniel Nava, who has doubled and flied to center. Former Red Sox outfielder, first baseman, designated hitter, whose very first swing as a big leaguer was a grand slam.
Grand slam. First pitch you ever saw.
Hitting .237. Daniel with one home run so far with his new ball club. And he flies that one into left field. A routine play for Brock Holtz. And a fast out.
A lot of people would look at the score of this game so far and they say, well, it was all those walks by Lincecum that gave the Red Sox their 6 runs, but only 1 run scored from those 6 walks.
CVS Health is a proud supporter of Stand Up to Cancer. We invite you to share your hashtag reasons to stand up by posting a photo or video of why you stand up to cancer and tag at CVS in action. Bottom of the 7th inning. Andrelton Simmons has gone 0 for 2. He did drive in a run. He had one of the hits last night in the 9th inning against Ziegler. That fateful ninth, but the Red Sox trying to turn it around tonight. Rick Porcello's pitching line brought to you by Ace Ticket. A trickler, but a foul ball.
Really good pitch. Porcello's done such a great job just living on the corners tonight. Both sides in and out. Really haven't seen him go to that high fastball all that much. He tried it once earlier in the game, gave up a base hit up the middle, and hasn't really gone up there. Hasn't had to. His breaking stuff's been sharp.
You know, he just doesn't walk anybody. Walked one man in his last start. High chop. Bogaerts charging. Time and gets him.
There was the high fastball.
2 down. And Choi is next. He's gone 0 for 2. You know, Lexus is making a pledge to strike out hunger. And for every strikeout by Red Sox pitcher this season, Lexus donates $50 to the Greater Boston Food Bank. Choi, the first baseman from South Korea. Went to high school in South Korea. Then he was drafted by the Seattle Mariners and came to the USA to begin his professional career. He'll look at a strike. Converted catcher. Now first baseman. Nobody on base and 2 down here for the Angels. The Red Sox are in front 6-2. They can pull to within a game and a half again of Baltimore. Because the Orioles lost to Toronto 6-5. That means the Blue Jays are now a half game out of first. So they can take the lead tomorrow. The Orioles have lost 4 straight. That one hammered into left field, but backing up Holtz, and there for the catch. And that's a 1-2-3 for Rick Porcello. join Dave Dombrowski and others at Boston University on August 13th and 14th. It's the 6th annual Sabermetrics Scouting and Science of Baseball Seminar. All proceeds from ticket sales go to the Jimmy Fund and the Angioma Alliance. For more information, visit saberseminar.com. Jackie Bradley with a high bouncer, and Choi will handle that chance for the out. Jackie with a home run last time up, his 17th, leading off the 6th inning. That was the last pitch that Lincecum threw. Red Sox ahead 6-2 as we are quickly on to the 8th inning. One man gone. And Aaron Hill will be next. He's 1 for 3 facing Chacin here. Hill scored a run in the 4th inning. He's also made an outstanding play on a wicked line drive by Mike Trout.
Solid over there at third base for a guy who's been second baseman mostly.
He's made a couple of outstanding plays diving to his left. That's across for a strike. Drew Pomeranz tomorrow and Stephen Wright on Sunday, and then the Red Sox will take off for Seattle and a 4-game series against the Mariners. Seattle knocking around the 500 mark. A couple of games over 500 at home. In there for a called strike. 2-2.
Another guy that kind of coming home to his own backyard. I believe Hill's from Visalia, California. Not too far away.
And that'll just miss. We've seen that called a strike tonight, but not on this occasion. 3-2.
Well, he's even. He didn't like that ball up and in that got called a strike, and this one probably could have been close enough, and it didn't get called a strike.
Payoff pitch. And that's in there for a strike. And that may well have missed, but he is called out, and they're 2 away.
Saw 2 pitches basically in that same location. They both got called strikes. That one did not. And then here's the one that did him in.
2 up, 2 down. Chacin has struck out 3 of the last 4 with a little bit of help from the man behind home plate.
You know, Dave, you think about the way the hitters think.
Handing with a pop-up, and that'll be caught by Perez, and that is out number 3. So the Sox go 1-2-3 in the 8th inning. Presented by People's United Bank. Steve, let's see what topics people can vote on to hear you talk about tonight on NESN Sports Today. Xander Bogaerts has driven in 3. Dustin Pedroia has hit safely in 9 in a row, or the night of Rick Porcello. Text your answer to 536-536. Message and data rates may apply.
Whatever they want, I'll talk about.
It's exactly how that's done. As Carlos Perez leads off here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Look at that pitch count on Porcello, just 83 pitches.
Excellent. First pitch strikes tonight have been great. A lot of breaking balls, first pitches, but they're not even like get me over breaking balls. They are nasty on the corner type pitches.
He's had fast innings too. 5 of the 7 innings he's gotten 3 fast outs. He's faced 3 batters in 5 out of 7. Not always a 1-2-3, but he's gotten a double play, and he's been able to get out of the innings very quickly. He only had one fairly lengthy inning. That was the 2nd inning when he gave up the 2 runs on 3 hits.
And remember the situation there, that ball skipping past Bradley. It could have been a 1st and 2nd situation, which could have changed that inning drastically. Maybe you get a ground ball double play. Instead you have 2nd and 3rd, you know you're going to give up some runs.
2-2 foul back. 6 runs on 7 hits for the Red Sox. 2 runs on 5 hits for the Angels. Xander Bogaerts and Jackie Bradley with home runs tonight. Porcello is taking care of the rest, at least so far, into his 8th inning. Foul back. Rick's longest outing this season has been 7 innings. And the 2-2 to Perez. And a routine ground ball. Bogaerts there to vacuum that up and get him.
That's funny. Talk about his longest outing being 7, but he goes 6 all the time.
He's 7 quite a number of times. Well, tomorrow at 8. Don't miss Red Sox first pitch, presented by Joseph Abboud, available at Men's Warehouse. Adam Pellerin and Dennis Eckersley will recap Jim Rice's enshrinement into the Paw Sox Hall of Fame.
Well, it's come to our attention that Jim Rice is in 4 Hall of Fames.
4
MLB Hall of Fame, the Paw Sox Hall of Fame, the International League Hall of Fame, which is abbreviated IL, and the Red Sox Hall of Fame. It's pretty good.
In the big house in Cooperstown, as you mentioned. Petit tried to hold up, but he went. That's a swing and a miss. Joe West at first base, and so the count 0-1. He's gone 0 for 2.
Yep, just that little flip at the end. Well, you see guys like Bogaerts with those strong hands, they can hold up. Hands aren't all that strong. You let it loose and you get the strike call out of it.
Petit has looked a lot more comfortable at second base tonight than he did in left field last night.
Good reason for that.
Looked like a fish out of water last night. Here's the 1-1 and pounded in for a strike. He had never played there in the outfield at any level before the last 2 games. A career infielder. Porcello looking to get him for the 3rd time tonight. Red Sox ahead 6-2 in the 8th. And due up for Boston will be Brock Holt, Mookie Betts, and Dustin Pedroia when we go to the 9th. Got a piece of it. Red Sox trying to right the ship, and Porcello a big reason they're doing it tonight. After 4 consecutive losses, a season high.
Amazingly efficient tonight, Porcello.
Fouled away.
It's 94th pitch of the game and well into the 8th inning. Not great at math, but what are you thinking? About an average of about 12 pitches an inning.
He's throwing a lot of strikes. 70 strikes out of the 94 pitches. The 1-2 again. And rolled to third base, scooped up by Hill. That'll be the second out. 2 up and 2 down. And tomorrow morning at 9, catch an all-new dining playbook. Billy and Jenny check out the Boston Harbor Hotel, and they test their skills at bubble soccer. Dining playbook at Nesson is driven by your New England Chevy dealers. And 7 straight retired by Porcello, and will send up the top of the order in Escobar. He's having a very good year. He's 0 for 3 tonight, but hitting .322. He is, however, just 2 for 15 against Porcello.
You say he's kind of a singles machine. He's really changed the front part of that lineup.
Pop to right in Betts. And it's another 1-2-3 inning. Porcello gets them in order as we go to the 9th. Red Sox baseball on Nesson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. The glowing building is a new train station. It's underway here in the 9th inning. And a ground out by Brock Holt to the second baseman Petit for a fast out. 1 pitch, 1 gone in the 9th. Red Sox ahead, however, 6-2. And it'll be the top of the order in Mookie Betts. And Rick Porcello has been superb again. Really rounding into the ace of this staff. And he's at 97 pitches. He's gone over 113 times.
Run him right back out there again. Let him get the complete game.
I don't think he's thinking about anything but his last complete game was in 2014.
And we talked about that. A lot of the people saying, why didn't they let Price go for the complete game last night? He was up over 109 pitches. But that's the formula of the game. That's the way they do it now. If you have a closer, you go to your closer. And I don't necessarily agree with that all the time.
High fly ball left center field. Mookie Betts put a charge into it. Trout back to the wall, and he makes the play right up against the fence. 2 down. Here's a look at our Xfinity game summary. Red Sox ahead 6-2 in the 9th. Mookie just missed one. So far, Porcello 8 innings, 5 hits. Bogarts and Bradley with home runs. Lincecum knocked out in the 6th inning. He does not appear to have a whole lot left. He walked 6 men, including the first 2 batters on 8 straight pitches. Porcello's been a completely different story. And very efficient as well. Good night for Dustin Pedroia. He's been on base 3 times, 2 walks, a run. In fact, he scored 2 runs. He singled in the 7th inning to run his hitting streak to 9 in a row. Bogaerts has hit safely in 11 straight.
There's double barrel action down there in the bullpen for the Red Sox right now.
2-0 foul back. It certainly looks like
is one of them.
Certainly looks like Porcello's going back out for the 9th regardless. And coming up, Calhoun, Trout, and Pujols.
Seems like it's that way all the time, isn't it? You get late, you're going to have to face the heart of the order.
Popped up down the right field line. That's going to sail out of play. Joe Kelly joining Clay Buchholz in the bullpen. We heard Alex Spear, the Boston Globe, on with us in the middle innings talking about possibility of the Red Sox adding a bullpen piece at the trade deadline.
There are tons of bullpen pieces out there, aren't there? Some guys are going to be coming back, some injuries. There's going to have to be some movement going on when everybody's healthy. Not everybody can stay out there.
Wonder about another left-hander for this bullpen. As a possibility. Jim Leland always wanted 3 lefties. Always wanted 3 in his pen.
Most managers are happy with 2. Kind of a lefty that can get both lefties and righties out, and a guy that can maybe throw more than an inning for you. And then that one lefty that comes in and gets one tough lefty and sits down.
Bogaerts on deck, 3-2, and he walks him. So
wow.
Pedroia on for the 4th time tonight. He walks for the 3rd time. Xander Bogaerts to climb in. He's had an outstanding night with 3 RBIs and a home run.
I like the way he resurrected his night after that strikeout in the 1st. In the 3rd inning, just blisters a ball into the right center field gap. Scoring all the way from first base there is Pedroia, and then you drop a breaking ball right into his happy house, and he deposits it over the left field wall.
So Bogaerts came in hitting .330, and he's gone 2 for 4 with a double and a home run.
The Red Sox have the most hitters in Major League Baseball hitting over 300 in their everyday lineup. Bogaerts, Betts, Ortiz, and Pedroia.
That one looped toward right field, but it's going to be a foul ball. Young Red Sox fan with a nice play there. Right on the fence. A lot of them here in this series in Anaheim. Everybody coming over to see the baseball.
Best prize you can get at a game.
2 down on the 0-2. That one will skip right by on a check swing, and down to second base is Pedroia on the wild pitch. So the Sox with a chance to add on here, leading 6-2 in the 9th.
This ball just bounced like a super ball. As soon as they hit the ground, bounced right over everybody. Boink. A ricochet shot.
So Bogaerts could pick up his 4th RBI tonight with a base hit, possibly 2 down. And a 1-2. And that's going to be in there for strike 3 right at the knee. Caught him looking to retire the side. So Rick Porcello will be heading out there in a moment, it would certainly appear. All right, here comes John Farrell over to make sure Bogaerts stays in after an argument with Ripperger. We'll take a break. Be back with more in a moment. Well, last half of the ninth inning, Red Sox leading the Angels 6-2. Rick Porcello is trying to go all the way for a complete game and fires in a strike on Cole Calhoun. Trout, Pujols after him. Porcello has been outstanding. He has scattered 5 hits. He has set down 14 of the last 15 Angels.
That spot in the strike zone has been really, really good all night. Up and away to the lefties and up and in to righties. Has been called a strike many, many times tonight.
Porcello trying to make it 8 consecutive decisions in his favor. Here comes pitch number 100. And up top again. Porcello earning the win in a career high 7 straight decisions. Right now he's 3rd in the American League in wins. And the 2-1 coming. Calhoun late on that one. 2-2. Red Sox trying to snap a 4-game skid. They're desperate to do that.
This is all about location again for Porcello. It's not like he's blowing guys away. That pitch was 89 miles an hour.
Here comes the 2-2 to the number 2 hitter. And a ground ball into the shift. Pedroia there from right field. He throws him out. 1 away. Trout is next. Red Sox baseball in Nesson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Now here's Trout, man who started the rally last night with that infield single. He would score the tying run. It was an ugly loss for the Red Sox. Tonight's been a much different story. Porcello has been really good. Red Sox have gotten back-to-back terrific starts. It was Price last night, Porcello tonight, and across for a strike on Trout, who's gone 0 for 3. See what the Red Sox have done with him on the mound. Whether he gets the win or not. Here comes the 0-1. High pop-up. Pedroia out. Here comes Bradley, and Jackie Bradley with a catch, and just like that, 2 down.
I'll tell you what. Trout wanted this one. Little bit of a hanging breaking ball. Watch him take a hack at it. Oh, he's so mad he missed it. Just got fooled, but he hung up. He stopped his swing and then unloaded. Really upset that he didn't square it up.
So for Rick Porcello, a complete game is 1 out away. Here in Southern California, Albert Pujols will look at a strike. Rick trying to end his night on a guy who has 2 hits against him this evening. 2 singles in 3 trips, and a good breaking ball snapped in there for a strike. 0-2.
He's had that good breaking ball all night.
Trying to stop this losing skid at 4 straight. Red Sox can gain a full game on the Orioles tonight, who lost to Toronto 6-5. Boston can get to it in a game and a half. And the 0-2 pitch to Pujols. Ground ball to third. That should do it. Hill is up with it. And that ends the 4-game losing skid as Rick Porcello goes all the way. He is Mr. Reliable now, 14-2. That is his 5th career complete game, his first in a couple of seasons, and in the clutch, Steve Lyons, and the Red Sox were desperate for a great start. He delivered it.
I'll tell you what, you come off of that devastating loss last night, and you know Porcello's on the mound the next night, and he goes out and delivers. You know, one of his best starts, no question about it, of the season. He's rolling.
He has earned a career high 8 consecutive wins. And now 14-2. Porcello, Adam, going all the way, and the Red Sox are a game and a half out of first.